Hi, I'm Shane McGrath. I'm here today to talk about a paper called Social Manufacturing. So over 10 years experience in the data space and degrees in economics, maths, and statistics. This is a bit of a change in direction. However, uh, this is kind of following up the talk about savings and balances and manufacturing, not capacity, but the effects on manufacturing. Um, um, so social manufacturing is a relatively new manufacturing technique that allows for distributed um, manufacturing essentially. So I was kind of posting about this paper in the summertime, and the feedback I got from people was that it was not the most clear. However, I feel that's because it's written in Chinese, written by some Chinese researchers. So some of the words can seem a bit uh, the not simplified, but not as fluid as you would expect. So yeah, so here's so here's the primary slide here. So yeah, the social manufacturing has seven key characteristics, and they're kind of listed here: microization, minimization of manufacturing resources, industrial nodes, extended CPS, so that's a cyber physical system. These are kind of digital twins. This means that instead of like the kind of factory that you might think of, they're more like workshops, and they work in kind of node form. The minimalization is that there's a lot less kind of not waste, but they're as small as they can be, kind of contain units. Um, and yeah, so industrial nodes, self-organized and socialized manufacturing resources. So they kind of organize themselves. There's no central organizing force. I mean, there has to be order allocation and that sort of thing, but the nodes pick up on the orders themselves. This is got depends on the grouping, virus-like propagation of the organization structure. So this is kind of what the virus looks like on the left here. Um, we have all these kind of these nodes around maybe like a centralized structure, and then sharing capabilities of business benefits. So this is with these kind of groups or communities, and that form to a kind of complex network. So the complex network is the technology here. The sharing capabilities and business benefits. These are kind of run by cyber credits and blockchain. There's stranger issues here, which can result in things like fraud and um, issues to do with consensus. They require some sort of something like blockchain to allow for a decentralized uh, consensus or agreements through things like smart contracts, dynamically distributed infrastructure. So this is similar to the virus, where you have the nodes and then a server that distributes various parts of the order or production that needs to be completed. Um, Big data driven decision making and performance optimization. And these can be collective intelligence. This again, I have to mention here that AI is the topic at hand. So this is to do with generative AI and various algorithms. However, here they don't mention so much AI. It's more about optimization of this kind of network through social media and algorithms essentially. And then the next is kind of industrial software, for the various different nodes. So yeah, this is the kind of main characteristics. There's crossover between the nodes. As I said, the technology that's not really covered is the latest AI. This is a few years ago. This paper was written, but so things such as LLMs, remember reading a paper that was written this year that talked about how LLMs can be used to reconfigure these sorts of nodes or matrix kind of structures. However, LLMs would not quite be at the capability of acting autonomously at the moment. Things like hallucinations are still occurrent. Different models such as Mamba perhaps could be used more for some of the reconfiguration things. However, the generative AI is definitely a tool, a tool that can be used for um, uh, uh, speeding up uh, uh, various different parts of the design process or even the configuration process of a machine or even things like pricing or things like that. Um, cool. So here's the mechanisms here. So the mechanism here is this kind of product service mechanism. So this this kind of social manufacturing has mechanisms that are necessary. So these are some of the concepts that when it's clear, if you read it, you have to read it maybe a few times to kind of get some of these ideas. But product service mechanism. So famously, a product service mechanism is where the owners of the manufacturers don't necessarily just deliver a an oven. They deliver an oven and a subscription that they deliver an oven on say a subscription and they track the oven and when the oven needs to be upgraded they upgraded for you, using things such as remanufacturing, although that is also disputed. But anyway, famously, Rolls-Royce don't make engines anymore. They lease engines. So they keep track of all the data, and um, this allows for various different mechanisms, essentially. Um, this is kind of necessary as part of the product service. Um, it, as a product as mechanism as part of the social manufacturing. Or it allows for cohesive delivery of products and services. Manufacturers can make more money from delivering products and services than just delivering products. Order-driven service mode in which socialized manufacturing resources are self-organized into service communities to collaboratively finish off tasks. And again, this allows for the distribution of tasks and things like that, because the manufacturer who kind of has the is providing service as well, also can distribute some of the tasks. So instead of supplying an engine to a factory and then that factory acting as independent unit, the manufacturer supplies an engine to a factory and then also kind of controls almost kind of some of the interactions with the engine and some of the downtime might be leased to depending on uh, the products or the operations, not the operations, the orders that would come true. So there's kind of sub mechanisms here. So this is a service contract establishing, so service capability, product service providing. So it's the service flow, service process controlling. There's the monitoring and scheduling. So this is to do with delivering product service, and then service resulting. So this is uh, maintaining the engine essentially. And then yeah, there's a contract and various different parts like that. Anyway, so this is a crucial part, the product service mechanism. The next part here is the sharing mechanism. So it's harder to kind of get a picture of this. However, it does highlight a certain part of this sort of social manufacturing, where previously manufacturing would have been many distributed. Think the kind of industrial revolution, and then at the same time centralized through factories, and then over time become mechanized, centralized, then digitalized, centralized, and then finally digitally distributed with low factory setup costs, many products, mass customization, open data-led design. So this is kind of social manufacturing idea where instead of like um, large fixed costs to set up a factory, and there's industries that do need that. You might have various different nodes that can wouldn't cost a huge amount of money to set up individually, but over time they might be as competitive in certain areas as the kind of digital centralized. So this is kind of part of this um, uh, social manufacturing. Socialized resources are used for completing manufacturing service orders. A firm is a producer and a consumer. So it's the product service. The manufacturer makes the product, but also is the consumer of another manufacturer's product. This is called service nesting, and there's allowed for sharing mechanisms. Sharing mechanisms is kind of service principles that resources have fixed ownerships but different rights for different manufacturers. Again, coming back to this kind of service orientated scheduling and monitoring. Different customers will use different parts of the facility. So depending on the order, a facility might be processing um, five separate orders that are different to each other at the same time, and this would use different parts of the facility. Um, for some of these like mechanical is centralized. Again, comes back to this mass production idea, where you just have to produce a lot of stuff. Um, in order to make money, because it costs a lot of money to turn on the mechanized central, and then costs a lot of money to keep it on. So you gotta just keep producing stuff. Which again goes back to some anyway. I won't say it. So different customers will use different parts of the facility. So you have different mechanisms here. Digital modeling of shared and sharing in its running mechanism. So everything is kind of there's a digital twin of everything, and everybody can kind of access everybody else's digital twin, and so that you can kind of quickly run ideas or test ideas, and this is sort of thing that AI is good at, not manipulating, but instead of like instead of having to learn software to manipulate these digital twins, you can just ask a chatbot to learn how to use the software, and presumably be trained to do so, or it would have a plugin for that, and then through text or general interfaces, the end users can quickly iterate designs and things like that, or even configurations. Yeah, so manufacturing capability, finding, matching, boarding, using mechanisms under stranger-based cyber credit model. So this is the kind of blockchain, where various different resources, parts of the facility might need to be allocated, and the best way to allocate things is through some sort of money-like system, where you have time and resources allocated to credits, and then they can be effectively distributed and exchanged. Value-added mechanism based on sharing manufacturing capabilities. Again, this is the 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 presumably measuring what the return is for the sharing the facilities. Digital twin mechanism as telepresence, teleoperators, remote monitoring under the control of a authority. Again, yeah, this is digitalization. Not only do you need the digital modeling, you also need to be able to use a digital twin to do various different teleoperation sort of uh, functions. Cost engineering mechanism, just as in order to keep the costs under control, you need some sort of engineering mechanism and production order planning schedule and um, service resting mechanism. So yeah, you also need the kind of production, the allocation mechanism to ensure that everything is kind of used correctly or at the same time. Um, so this is another view of this sort of open manufacturing value stream. Well, I won't go into this more to show what these things kind of look like. You might have these sort of, again, is an example of this sort of virus like structure where you have some things that are centrally operated, such as design and physical products, and then you might have the engineers and developers as nodes around the central authority, I suppose, and then the fabs or production communities or SMBs, and then the users and prosumers, users and do it yourself um, parts of the organization. Cool. So the stranger-driven outsourcing and credit sourcing, no trusted third parties to supervise them. So there's no essentially not a central authority, but there's no centralized platform. So you need some sort of decentralized way of ensuring trust, credibility, security, intellectual property. So the way to do this suggested here is Bitcoin or what was Bitcoin, so it's cryptocurrency. Again, like they mentioned that this is used mainly as a consensus driven for things like sharing manufacturing resources or order management or things like that. Whereas this would be also used for you could also use it for things such as like um, electricity, regards to I've seen papers on that sort of thing where you would have cyber electricity credits, and they would also be allocated via things like blockchain. So essentially, blockchain, not the key technology, but probably the fundamental technology that would allow for these sort of consensus mechanisms to solve this using blockchain, cyber credits, and take part in outsourcing, crowdsourcing, and enable blockchain technology. So without something like blockchain, it's kind of very expensive to decentralize everything. Different software systems wouldn't work as well as something like blockchain. So it's kind of the glue that joins everything together. So here is the key fundamentals of social manufacturing. So new collective, yeah. Um, cool. And then yeah, the the other mechanism is a collective mechanism. So this is collective action can be taken together by a group of socialized resource reconfiguration. So there used to be some sort of communication method. So what they use here are two kind of they not two well two methods, and these would be social media, and another method is sort of AI for this sort of collective action. So collective actions that deal with social manufacturing problems with the help of collective intelligence, cooperation, competitive algorithms, social network analysis, and also game theory. So it's I kind of I look at like blue sky and how could almost be used in a thing such as this, due to network topologies and kind of it itself is a decentralized protocol. So it and various different kind of actors could uh, easily connect and f- for the in a network such as that. And again, works off a similar sort of bidding structure. However, they don't mention a bidding structure here. They just mention collective algorithms. A key fundamentals of social manufacturing. So manufacturing service communities, which mainly emphasize these are key fundamentals. So this is the kind of manufacturing service communities. These again, it kind of talks about the service mechanism. So you would have communities built up around these sharing resources. Emphasize where a company has a kind of manufacturing resource. There's therefore two kind of nodes involved in the network. Uh, the a two-mode complex manufacturing can be described with this method, and then there's a one-mode manufacturing uh, group. So this kind of describes the different kind of complex nodes that a manufacturing resource might entail. So uh, from what I can kind of gather, there's some resources have different levels, and then some resources have just the holders. Um, Yeah, yeah, but both manufacturing groups and MSCs can be modeled with complex networks whereas different kinds of complex networks should be applied. Yeah, so that again, so these are sort of the networks that build up and previously the kind of the blue sky way, you can kind of see that these could be seen through things like social media or some sort of social media um, um, tool, I suppose. Cool. So the next one is extended cyber physical platform. So the picture here describes what a cyber physical platform looks like. So this is your digital twins essentially. So similar to the manufacturer nodes, the suppliers, the managers, the operators, and these all kind of um, are kind of connected to a kind of social network uh, um, that they can kind of um, send instant messages and live streaming. So it's not just TikTok that is live streaming. It's also the sort of extended cyber physical platform for instant messaging, open interfaces, which facilitates anytime human interactions among enterprises and their suppliers. Thus, the humans can send their production commands to the filed machines for production and feedback and decision making. So I think from what I gather, this is all sort of WeChat sort of stuff in in China. So there would be apps that would be integrated into WeChat or something like WeChat, and this would facilitate the transactions and then also the interactions between man and machine, and then man and also man. Um, but again, the intermission social there, and crucially, and again, like things like AI can be incorporated here to enable some of the machine configurations, and also perhaps around things like such as robotics. And then also similar to how something like co-pilots would operate here, enabling reports and various different interactions. Um, so this is the collective intelligence, the system level manufacturing configuration, cooperation, optimization based on large scale cooperation and sharing among socialized distributed and self-organizing resources. Um, the algorithms, the social systems model, Blackboard, e-voting. So these are all consensus. The service configuration, the social factory, production optimization, collective design, crowd design. Um, and a famous example of this is kind of Shein, where which at a certain stage it may have operated with decentralized designers with these sort of factories that had their own design houses. However, I think now it's a bit more centralized due to uh, the AI trend kind of driven design that they do now. But again, so this is another area where AI would have operations with regards to these sort of collective algorithms, and then also is it socialized design and things like that, manufacturing resources. Um, cool. So it's the application of blockchain. Again, social manufacturing, manufacturing community, manufacturing enterprise. All of the allocations will be kind of worked through a kind of blockchain ledger, so people can kind of see the kind of open consensus. Then this also tracks the orders, and again, if you're integrating it with something like WeChat or a social media platform like that, then you can pretty much track the orders to consumers if that's what the end goal is. Um, However, I think this is kind of more of a broader manufacturing as opposed to just consumer-based manufacturing. It could also include the things such as uh, machines for factories or things like that. So yeah, again, so this is all tracked through Bitcoin, the social manufacturing, the manufacturing community, the manufacturing enterprise. All the data is in a kind of Bitcoin ledger that is open, and it, the various different parts of the community can see this. And again, the point that these things try to make is that um, the point that here is that it's kind of stranger driven, so the communities do build up, but in order for the communities to get established, there needs to be some sort of consensus mechanism which is driven by the blockchain ledger. Cool. And then how does the whole thing kind of fit together? Um, so you kind of have this sort of industrial software model, which has a community platform, social manufacturing network, different models, manufacturing enterprises, and industrial software with various different apps to process orders, meet specific functions, and then information systems are linked through this for prosumers or manufacturing service communities. Uh, that allows integration with social media to support the various connections and communications between prosumers. Community platforms uh, provide many functional modules that support autonomous manufacturing service communities, including uh, order allocation and distribution. So again, this is kind of where the um, robotics or things like that would fit in um, uh, through um, through these sort of industrial software. So as you can kind of see, like this includes web apps. It also includes blockchain. It also includes some social media. It also includes manufacturing. Um, not resources, but machines and manufacturing facilities. It also includes logistics. It also includes all the expertise and knowledge of the actual people doing the work or kind of joining all the dots. And that is crucial again because it is social manufacturing and not quite like cloud manufacturing or things like that. And again, like cloud manufacturing it essentially can be incorporated into a system that looks like this. Again, and there's all sorts of resource and staff staff allocation, and yeah, flexible information systems. Crucially, social media is the kind of glue, because this allows for people who don't necessarily know each other to interact. Um, and it's all kind of linked to a production system. And again, they also don't mention here how blockchain can also be used, yes, for service evaluation, order sharing, benefit distribution. Again, blockchain is kind of how all the stuff is kind of run together or the kind of glue. So this is the baseline technology. AI will probably be the next baseline technology on top of that. Um, and then it's probably AI. It's probably blockchain, social media, and then AI would be the three core components of the social manufacturing. Cool. So that's kind of a run through there. I'll kind of post the video, and then if there's any questions, hopefully, if there's any questions, I'll answer them